Remember, popularity is for a moment, but influence can be for a lifetime. Well, good morning and welcome to Timeout this morning. My name is Jack Vint. I'm standing here next to a ginormous pipe. I wanted to do Timeout for you in the pipe, but the echo was too much. And the reason I wanted to show you these pipes, and I'm just going to show you the other side quickly so you can see. There they are, they're massive. When I saw these pipes, I thought about something that affects your life and my life, and how that if we get that right, it can change everything. So don't go away, I'm going to catch you in a moment. Well, I'm back again. I've walked up the mountain now, away from the pipes, and the question I was asking you is, how do you become a successful influencer, and can your influence change your world? And you may ask how. I'm going to show you in a moment. But there was something about those pipes I wanted to show you that reminded me about what blocks your influence and my influence. And those pipes have been lying there for years. There are many of them, and they're ginormous and they're heavy. I think I looked, they were about 20 or 25 millimeters thick with a plastic coating, and they're very long. But the one thing that I notice about them is they're totally ineffective because of one reason: they're out of position. For those pipes to function, I think they're stormwater pipes, they need to be buried in the ground underneath and covered. And so if you're out of position, you can't be a great influencer. And I'm going to show you how to get into position. And the second thing is that, they can't just be one pipe. They have to be placed in line with other pipes. There needs to be an alignment of those pipes together in a specific way for there to be eventually a flow of water. And if you want to have a flow in your life as an influencer, you have to be positioned right and aligned correctly. So just remember that. Now, you may say, Jack, what is an influencer? Is it a social media influencer? Well, you can be a social media influencer, but influence is really about affecting people. And you can be a parent today and you can be an influencer. You can be a student and be an influencer. You can be a team leader at work and be an influencer. You can be a sports leader and be a captain somewhere, or a vice captain and be an influencer. You can be in business and be an influencer. You can be a leader in society and be an influencer. You could be a teacher, a trainer, whatever it is. Everybody, there's many ways to influence. And you may be intimidated because you may think, but Jack, I'm not a leader, so does it mean that I can't be an influencer? Well, all leaders have influence, but not all influencers are necessary leaders. If you go back in history, some of the greatest influencers were never actually main figures as leaders, but yet they influenced prominent people, leaders that did phenomenal things. And so sometimes the influencers work in the background, and they are not always the front people, but yet they have a profound effect. And you and I can be that influencer. We don't necessarily have to be the leader. And so you may ask, well, what does the influencer do? Now I want to say, if you want to be popular, and especially in social media, if you entertain people and you're very funny and you come up with something quirky, you'll have you'll be very popular and a lot of people will watch you. But within minutes, they'll forget you. Because you see, don't confuse popularity with influence. It's two different things. And maybe you won't be as popular, but you'll influence people by something you do, and they will remember you not just 5 minutes, but 5 days, 5 months, and maybe even 5 years later, because you influenced and changed the course of their life. And so choose. So I'm not saying it's wrong to be popular. I'm just saying don't go for popularity versus influence, because influence is much more powerful. Be an influencer. And you may ask, well, how do I become that influencer? What makes a great influencer? And I'm going to share with you something that everybody can do. And if you want to be an influencer, the first thing I would say is be a person of substance. Now, in the world today, people say they need superheroes. Marvel has told us we need superheroes to make a change. Not true. You can just be an ordinary person. You know, superheroes are in the comics and the movies, but in real life, what people want is a person of substance. What is a person of substance, Jack? Well, a person of substance is somebody who has convictions and lives by them. And then, and also doesn't just live by conveniences, lives by convictions. So you have to have convictions that people know about and then live by those convictions. If you want to be a person of substance, you can't just go with the flow and be all things to all people to be popular. For you to be an influence, you need conviction and not convenience. And people will gravitate to you because people want real people. There are not many real people. So the second one, don't just be a person of substance, be a real person. Somebody that people feel they can touch, they can feel, they can empathize with, they know is humble, a real person like you. Be that person, because people need real people. You know, there are so many fake people in the world. People don't need more fake people. They need more real people like you to influence them. You know, I think about my mother when it comes to an influencer. My mother really influenced me. I was the youngest of 7 children, and I can still remember things she taught me, things she told me what to do, the discipline she gave me. And she died many years ago, but her influence lives on. And that's what's is phenomenal about an influencer. Now, in today's world, my mother would never qualify as a leader. If you met her, she's small, short, she would never, but she was a great influence in my life. And I'm sure you've had great influences in your life that necessarily weren't these prominent leaders. Be that person. And I'm reminded about somebody else before I move on, a man called Jesus Christ, the Son of God. To me, the greatest influencer. People are still speaking about what he said thousands of years later. He's still influencing the world. And Jesus, if he had to come back into our world, I wonder if the modern leaders would consider him a great leader. And it would be because of his strange outlook on life, because I think it is Matthew, I'm just thinking 20:18 or there around 28, Jesus wrote these words. He said, I've come to serve and not be served. I've come to lay my life down as a ransom for many. And I think modern day leaders all want to be served and not to serve. And nobody today wants to lay down their lives for others, and modern day leaders. So Jesus, yes, he was a great leader in my eyes, but the most important fact, he was a great influencer because he had this motto to serve other people and to change their lives. And so be that person of substance. Be that real person that people can relate to, can feel and touch. And be that person that lives by conviction and not convenience. And then I also want to say, if you want to be a person of influence, then you need to remember that it's your attitude that is going to determine whether people are attracted to you. And I shared before about every plane has an attitude meter, which keeps them, from crashing into the ground. It keeps them parallel with Earth. It says, yes, Earth, yes, you. Just keep your attitude right, because if you don't and you go down, you're going to crash and burn. Attitude is what everybody else has. We all have attitude because it's how we see things. But to have a good attitude is to keep you from crashing on into the earth, and to keep you being effective as a person, an influencer. So what are the things you may say that make me have a bad attitude? Well, people will attach weights to you. Things, if you mix a lot with negative people, they will weigh you down, and eventually your attitude meter will go down and you'll crash and burn. And so I want to say, what's your attitude meter in life? Be careful who you hang around with. Be careful. Everybody loves to share negative news. And I'm not against saying we should be, sharing also things that are wrong. But don't always be the person sharing wrong things. Share positive things. They are also happening. As much as negative things, there are many positive things. Choose to share positive things, because positive things influence people. Negative things work on people's emotions and normally cause those people to crash and burn. Imagine my mother telling me when I grew up, you're never going to have food because the price of food is going up. There's never going to be enough money for you because I'm running out of money. Those things may have been true, but they wouldn't have influenced me in a positive way. Share things that are positive and be that positive person. Keep your attitude meter positive so that you don't crash and burn. And before you know it, you'll be a great influencer wherever you are. Remember, popularity is for a moment, but influence can be for a lifetime. You've been watching Timeout. My name is Jack Witt. If this video has encouraged you, be an influencer and share it with somebody on social media, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook. If you comment and you share, you are helping me to make social media more positive, because Timeout and Timeouters is all about being positive and sharing the positivity. I appreciate your cooperation. Thank you for watching. God loves you. Go out and be a great influencer. I'll catch you next week.